Hi, this is Jesse, and in this video I'll be demonstrating my week 2 contacts API project, which is built using Node.js Express, MongoDB, and it is hosted on Render, and it's also documented using Swagger. So if I navigate to my deployed version of my API here, and I open this link in a new tab, it shows that my contacts API is running very well. So next, if I navigate to my documentation on Swagger, what Swagger helps us to do is test these API endpoints using this nice interactive user interface, and we shall go ahead and test all these endpoints. So the first endpoint we are going to test is the get contacts endpoint, and it retrieves all contacts from the MongoDB database. So when I click execute, it returns the contacts in JSON format, and we have about 5 contacts in our database. So the next endpoint that I'm going to test is the get contacts by ID. So what this API endpoint does, it retrieves a single contact by its object ID from the database. So we need an object ID of a contact that we are going to grab this one here, and we shall paste it in there and click execute. So we are able to get this contact here, we're happy, from the database. The next endpoint that I'm going to test is a post endpoint, which allows us to create a new contact in our database, and it will return that object ID for that specific contact we have created. So I'll just go ahead and feed in that information. For purposes of time, I created a contact here which we can just grab and paste in there, and then we shall be able to create a new contact here. So we get the object ID for that specific contact. So it was successfully created, and if we refresh our atlas here, it will reflect. Then as we wait for it to load, the next endpoint that we are going to test is the put endpoint, which allows us to update an existing contact in this case, and it will return an HTTP status code of 204 indicating that the request was successful. So before we do that, we shall just go back to our atlas and see if our contact for Connor Williams was successfully created in the database. So just wait for it to load a little bit, and we should have it appear down in our contacts. So it's taking a little bit of time to load here, and boom, we have it there, Connor Williams. So the next endpoint that I was talking about is the put endpoint, which we are going to test out also. Click try it out. I'll paste in Connor Williams object ID, which I already copied, and we are going to update his favorite color to white. So his favorite color is yellow for now, but we are going to update it to white. So I'll paste in that information, and I will type in white. Okay, and I'll click execute. So when I click execute, we get this status code 204 indicating that it was successful. And if we refresh still in our atlas here, his favorite color should have changed from yellow to white. Then as we wait for it to load, the last endpoint that we shall be testing in this case is the delete contact. So this will allow us to delete a single contact based on its object ID. If we click try it out as we wait, shall have to paste in an ID here, and in this case still we shall use Connor Williams object ID. So we shall just copy it here, paste it in there. But before we delete it, let's go to our atlas and see if we updated the color from yellow to white. That means our endpoint works well. So yeah, it changed to white. So we go back and delete Connor Williams contact, click execute, and it returns still a status code of 204 indicating it was successful with a description of no content. And if we refresh it again here, we should not have Connor Williams in our database. And as we wait for it to load, if we go to my VS Code here, we have my .env file, which contains the sensitive information such as the MongoDB connection string, which is secured in here, showing that it's not just hard-coded. And we also have our node modules here. And if we navigate to our GitHub here, we shall see that they are not committed to GitHub, showing that I followed the best security practices. So let's just see if our corner contact was deleted from the database. So boom, it's no longer there. So all our endpoints work well. We have tested them. Maybe the last thing I would love to do is walk you through my MVC style architecture. We have the controllers folder here, which contains all my business logic. We have the routes folder here, which contains all my API endpoints and is responsible for all the requests that are coming from the controllers. And the next file we have here is a MongoDB.js, which handles the connection to my database. And lastly, we have my server.js file here, which acts as my main entry point to my application, and it also initializes Express. It registers or connects the documentation with Swagger. It connects to the database. So that's the main entry point to my application, and in simple terms, that's my application. Thanks for watching.